Dlala umuni lo dlala uyihlo.
Ntombazana, mushumbulu ekhanda. Abake nabakuboni.
Abajojwe.
Khuluma.
Ngiyakhuleka kuwe Ntombazi ngiyacela.
Ntombazi. Lalela. Uthwanzana?
Dingiswayo azoguqa lapha kithi.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ASR, African Stories Realized. This is our weekly review of Shaka iLembe Season 2. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Episode 6 picks up in Mthethwa with an angry Dingiswayo determined to avenge the death of his brother-in-law, Melusi, who was killed by Zwide. He immediately ordered his army to prepare for war and sent word to Shaka for support. Meanwhile, Nongila and Ngwande met with one of the Xhosa kings, who invited them to a meeting where the Xhosa kings discussed the threat of the British and the Boers, debating whether they should accept their proposal for trade and cooperation. Later that night, the Boers tried to steal cattle from the Xhosa, but Ngwande ended up killing one of them before fleeing with Nongila. Back in Mthethwa, Dingiswayo's mother questioned Ntombazana and her handmaiden, but she refused to talk in the absence of the king. Dingiswayo and his mother agreed that Zwide had been playing them all along, before once again interrogating Ntombazana and her handmaiden. Ntombazana confessed to being sent to seduce the Mthethwa king and bewitch him. After a heated exchange, Dingiswayo spared the Ndwandwe princess and later invited her to his palace, where they slept together. After capturing Dingiswayo's seed for her grandmother's spell, Ntombazana and her handmaiden killed an Mthethwa guard before making their escape. A messenger was given the Mthethwa king's seed and ordered to deliver it to Ntombazana. Back at Mthethwa, Dingiswayo's mother reported the escape to her son, making Dingiswayo even more determined to march on Ndwandwe. A guilty Somveli then decided to come clean to his father, confessing that he made a deal with Ndwandwe and has been spying on them, ultimately leading to the death of Buza, one of his father's trusted advisors. An angry Dingiswayo attacked his son before disowning him and banishing him from the kingdom. In Kwanobamba, Shaka received word that the Mthethwa were preparing to march on the Ndwandwe, with Dingiswayo requesting support of Shaka's Zulu army, but Shaka insisted that it would take some time to gather his army. However, Dingiswayo was not patient enough to wait for support and insisted that they march on Ndwandwe as soon as possible without the Zulu army. Unbeknown to him, Queen Ntombazi's spell was already in effect, with the Mthethwa king already starting to hear things before disappearing from the camp. The Mthethwa army scrambled to look for their king, who was getting lured to the Ndwandwe capital by Queen Ntombazi's spell. Dingiswayo made his way to Kurungom with the belief that his men were marching with him, but upon arriving in the Ndwandwe capital, it was revealed to be an illusion that was conjured up by Queen Ntombazi. The episode ends with a confused Dingiswayo finding himself trapped by Zwide in the Ndwandwe capital. It was a very calm episode today, setting us up for what I expect to be fireworks next week. Shaka barely got any screen time, and it's been very much the Dingiswayo show for the last few episodes as the show wraps up his storyline. The Mthethwa king's history is shrouded in a lot of mystery. He's a very mythical figure, which I think gave the show a lot of creative flexibility, and I can't complain with how the character has been handled. I was wondering if the show was going to make Shaka's lack of support more deliberate. Some historical accounts do suggest that he purposely refused to support the Mthethwa when Dingiswayo was captured. The show has also been teasing that tension between the two kings. We got a little bit more context on how the Xhosa groups have been dealing with the Boers and the British, and the irony that the Boer farmers who accused Nongila and Ngwande of being cattle thieves are actually cattle thieves themselves. I like that touch, and I appreciate seeing the different perspectives. I don't know if we can trust Mbopa, Shaka's servant. He's been acting weird lately and is always very attentive to Shaka's conversations. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but he's being very suspicious. With 4 episodes to go, I can't really predict how the season will end. There's still a lot of loose ends to tie up, like the fate of the Kwabe throne. I can't wait to see the battle between Shaka and Phakathwayo. Their rivalry goes all the way back to when they were youngsters, and I'm looking forward to seeing that reignited. Much like I mentioned last week, this Shaka still has a lot of development he's going to go through. I believe he will get more ruthless following the death of his mentor Dingiswayo and eventually his mother. So be patient with him. I'm glad we're getting to experience a more human side of Shaka, which compared to the 1986 original was pretty one-dimensional. We're on our way to the finale of Shaka iLembe Season 2, and I'm looking forward to a strong finish. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with another review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is ASR for the love of African filmmaking and storytelling.